Well, welcome back to Tailor Made Marriages. Well, you just heard Dr. David and his new book that's called Can You Relate or What? But we also are coming back on this segment where we want to just give you a brief insight into his second book called It's a Love Thing. We even have some guests with us tonight that might even give us a little rendition of the older version, but we'll get to them shortly. Dr. David, talk to us a little bit about It's a Love Thing.
Well, I got it from the Whispers. No, I'm just joking. All right, that's it. I think when it comes to relationship, is how do we do this thing? How, is it a flesh thing? Is it a old thing, a new thing? Yeah. Is it a same thing that everything has been involved in, or is it a love thing? Yeah. Is it a history thing? It is the last thing I was involved with, a hurt thing, a wounded thing, but it has to be a love thing.
Yes.
I have to be motivated by that and understanding that there's a format for what we do and how we do relationship. Yes. And since God is love and He makes the relationship all of that, then it also in that same way, love has to be done that way. So I have to love my wife like Christ loves the church, and I think that, and then also he also says over in Titus that the older women teach the younger women how to love their husband and their children.
Yes.
So it's a love thing for me, and it's a love thing for you.
Exactly.
And I think in that process, it's we give the example from Christ, and the idea that he says he will leave his father and mother and love the church and love his wife. We're supposed to do that, and then the demonstration of it is he left the most perfect place. He left his Father in heaven.
I think what you're saying is so awesome. It's so exciting to hear somebody talking about marriages. I know that's our heart and our passion.
Yeah.
But the message that you're speaking about is so rare. Even sometimes in church, you don't hear what you're talking about. And we want to be able to offset the culture to give them another option.
Yes.
Because this is God's original intent
That's His plan.
for families is marriage.
Yeah.
And you're producing some materials that's going to put people in their rightful place. Tell me about some of the titles or names of the chapters of in It's a Love Thing.
Oh, sure. For the husband, it's you got to leave something to love her. And the idea that Jesus left heaven to be able to love his wife. And again, Genesis says leave your father and mother means make her a priority. That means there's nobody. That priority simply means above all others, over all others, and above and beyond all others.
Yes.
So regardless of any other woman in my life, you the bomb, you know what I mean? And you
I
my
receive
priority,
it.
you know what I'm saying?
Receive it.
And so no matter it's my mother, no matter it's the person on my job or whatever, you are my priority, and I honor you above, over, and beyond all others. That includes my daughters. I love them, but they don't get the space that my woman get. Praise God.
And think about that, because we got 4 beautiful daughters.
Oh, I know that.
And I think what's so awesome is that they watch us.
Yeah.
They're at an age right now where it can be a challenge. Sometimes we have the 2 that's 20 and 19 that are in the place of starting to see how blessed they really are, coming back helping the 14 and the 15-year-old who's about to be 16.
And I'm thankful.
And I'm thankful. Amen. And so they're watching, and it has not always been no easy task processing them. But our intention at the end of the day is to hope that they see our exchange to be something that they pursue. And I hear them saying, oh, I just want a husband like my dad. Oh, I just want to, I hope I act like this. But then we also have the frustrated ones who say, oh, when I have kids, I'm going to do this with my kids. I thought, oh, you 14 and 15, you'll say that right now, and then you'll be reproducing just like we are.
Yeah, and I think the good side of it is they see all of our process. We don't hide too much from them. So I think they get to see that it takes work. It takes going through something. And that, in the way that Christ loved his church, he loved her in sin, through sin, and out of sin. You know what I mean? He loved her in the face of Satan. But he also loved her out of the hands of Satan.
You better
go. And he also was able to give her so much that she would end up, that he could leave and turn it all over to her.
Yes.
That's a bad man. So, he's teaching us really how to love her. And then also the Bible talks about, and Paul says, that we ought to please our wife. I'm married. My first objective now is to please my wife.
Yes.
And so now that means to satisfy the desire, the wish, and the want, and to satisfy that in every place. And so my desire really is to be like Christ, because when he says be an example of Christ in the church, it means that when the church prays, he fulfills the wish.
Yes.
Oh, come on. So that other side of that becomes...
starting something with our TV audience. The ladies
well,
going to be going to their husbands saying, now did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
But you know what? They also have to understand that you're able to teach our men in our congregation, those you've been exposed to, how to process that.
Yes.
We recognize the economic conditions of some of our families, some of the challenges that they're experiencing, and some of them have not been even maybe trained how to process financially, how to position their families for these
Sure.
processes. So it's not something that happens overnight.
No.
It clearly is a process. So we encourage them to be a part of an environment that exists.
Yeah.
We know it exists through the Word, but there's many churches that
Yeah.
are operating
Yeah, that are
in a power of agreement and oneness and produce marriage kingdom principles.
Yeah.
And our encouragement to you is to really become a part of one of those processes.
Yeah, I think culture is so key. I think culture creates order.
Yes.
And culture and order, those verse creates that. Because it's like almost on Sunday morning, I can go in an environment that is zero, well, not 50% marriage.
Yeah.
It is almost like 90% marriage.
Yes.
But that's the order inside the kingdom.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So on that Sunday, on that Tuesday night, we get to see what God design really is.
Yes.
And then that attention. Now, even those that might have been going through different directions, they still can see that picture too.
Yes.
They can still see the order, and they can still establish culture within that and establish relationship in it. And so I love that process about it, that we can see that, and regardless of what we see in parts of the world, we can see a picture of really what Christ really wants.
And in addition to what you're saying, one of the biggest things that stay in my heart is how when we just returned from Hampton doing the African American psychology classes, how we're in a culture with students with their ages were maybe 18 to 20. However, what we realize is that the same thing that God intended is what they truly desire.
It's in them.
Because while we were asking those questions, giving the assessments, providing the data, one of the questions we asked was, how many of you want to be married?
All of them.
And all of them, 100% raised their hand.
Yeah.
We said, how many of you want a father for your children?
Everyone.
Every single woman raised her hand. And so when we think that there's a culture gap, we realize that there really is no culture gap when it comes to the desire to fulfill the void. So with that said, we're going to shift to our guest on our panel tonight, who is Minister Emmanuel Hutt and Minister Judy Hutt. They're ministers from Through the Word by Frankie. Welcome tonight, and thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
Oh,
It's
God.
a love thing.
Oh, you better go ahead and sing for us. Just go right ahead.
Man,
Y'all
you
want to
talking
do a
in my
little
sleep.
short
With
snippet?
the love you bring. Don't play, man. All right?
It's a love thing. It's a love.
Come on.
Oh, you better go ahead.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Right?
Well, tell us tonight. We thank you guys for coming.
Yes.
We know you guys. We love you guys.
Thank
We're
you.
excited about your marriage, where you've been, where
Yes.
what you've gone through, and what God is about to produce even in your world.
Amen.
Tell us how long you've been married, your children, excited grands. Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, first of all, we're happy to be here tonight and just to expound and be with you to expound on marriage.
Yes.
Marriage and then being married.
Yes.
The marriage is the process. The marriage has the process of marriage.
Yes.
So it's a process.
Yes.
We've been married. We've been married for 33 years. We just closed it on 33, but now we're on 34.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love those numbers, but those numbers come with, like you said, Pastor Dave, Pastor Byrne, relationship.
Yes.
And those years will come.
Yes.
Right. But we are building and study building our relationship.
Yes. Yes.
We have two daughters,
Okay.
Jasmine and Crystal,
Aw.
22 and 28, and two beautiful
Congratulations.
granddaughters,
Oh, yeah.
Kaden and Samira,
Oh, yeah.
ages 2 and 3,
Aw.
which is awesome because now we can take them back.
Yeah.
Yes.
We love them dearly.
Come and visit. Got to
Yes, and being married 33 years, some people may say that's a long time, which it really is, but they look at us now, what you see now is not what it's always been.
Yeah.
Because
Excellent.
we've had challenges along the way.
Sure.
Lots of challenges,
Sure.
but more good than bad.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
We realize that marriage is God's design, and once we realized that and allowed Him to be first
Yes.
and foremost,
Yeah.
things start to smooth out,
Yeah.
and we were able to put some periods where some question marks were.
Awesome.